Hi, I'm your election candidate for Pemberton as an independent, and you might be wondering why I've decided to do this. The reason is behind me. Um, not It's not the only reason, but this is the redevelopment of the galleries in Wigan Town Centre, and basically, I'm in a shop there. I got kind of sucked into the whole politics thing of the place being knocked down and working with the, well, not even working with the council, dealing with the council, and then I started going to council meetings. And basically, where we're at now is, I think we need a change. So, what are my plans? Well, my first plan is to introduce myself to you because you've no idea who I am. Unless, of course, you read the Wigan Post and or the Wigan Observer over the last 12 months or so, in which case you've probably got a good idea who I am. Also, if you've watched the Wigan Watch videos or been into my shop Games and More, which was in the galleries, but now, sadly, is, well, reloading. I'm calling it reloading because I'm looking for somewhere else to move to that I can afford. But anyway, that's another story for another day. I'm 57 years old. I've lived in Wigan since 1990, 1991, something like that. And I love it. I love Wigan. I think Wigan is amazing. I've got a daughter who herself has got, I nearly said a grandson. I've got a grandson and a granddaughter as well. I don't rehearse these things. I don't edit these things. This is me as is. And hopefully you like what you see. It's like a dating app, isn't it? Swipe left, swipe right. Well, maybe not. Anyway, more back to my story. So how did I get from being a shop owner to here? Well, it's all in the papers. The Wigan Observer, December 21st, 2020, and exciting vision of the future, a master plan for the galleries to transform Wigan Town Centre, etc, etc, etc. And that is where it all began. Now, we've known for ages that Wigan Town Centre needs redevelopment. We know it's not fit for purpose. We know something needs to be done. We know the market needs to move somewhere more central. We know all this. But what we didn't know is what a ride we would have. And it hasn't even started yet. So, not long afterwards, well, quite a while afterwards actually, to be fair, these leaflets appeared, which give you more details. There's a video where I actually go through this leaflet and the Wigan Watch videos on the YouTube channel, so feel free to have a look at that. But my story began before then. This is Saturday, April the 17th, 2021, and I put my alternate plans for Wigan Town Centre, which basically says we don't need another cinema, we don't need a bowling alley, we don't need a food court thing that's 4 stories high, we don't need a hotel, and why we're building 400 odd floors, 400 odd apartments, with 200 odd parking spaces. Yeah. So that was April the 17th, 2021. May the 1st, I was telling people to go and vote. This was for last year's elections. And I basically said, times are changing. At this point, absolutely no interest in being involved in the voting. It was just a case of frustration that a lot of people don't vote because they don't see the point. And there is a point to vote. There's a reason to vote, and you should do it. You either vote for the people that you want to stay in and carry on doing what they're doing, or you vote for change. And that's what basically that said. I didn't say for anyone in particular, I just said let's vote for someone. And then we move on to the 19th of May, and I'm going on, it's your town, have a say. And ask the question, do council members actually visit the town centre? Straw poll we had, and various other bits of information as well. Most people who I deal with do not think that the plans that we've got are fit for purpose at this point. So, we move on to June the 2nd. It's me again, talking about politics. And ironically, I put there, we need the people of the people to represent people, and sadly I see none in any of the politicians we are currently lumbered with. That was more nationally as well as locally to a degree. If people are in politics for money, expenses or brownie points, then they should leave it and get a job on TV, which is ironic considering I started doing a YouTube channel vlog not long afterwards. Stand up to decision makers. Wigan has lost loads of its heritage through bad planning. I will go into this in more detail in videos out and about over the next couple of weeks before the election, give you an idea what I'm on about. And then we moved from the Wigan Post into the Wigan Observer, and it is August 17th 2021, and we're in the Observer, and my aim is to get people thinking. So basically I give you in the paper ideas for different things, nationally, internationally and locally, and I get people talking, and it worked. A lot of people come into the shop and had a chat, and this is where things started to get a bit more interesting for me. I went on a petition delivering exercise to Wigan Council, which actually was big enough to feature on the cover of the Manchester Evening News. There's our sadly passed away councillor, and there's little old me in the background there. 500 petition actually signed, physically signed by people within the market hall that they were signed in for. And Councillor Paul Prescott said 5,000 is insignificant and therefore it doesn't count as a rejection vote or even worth discussion. Then we're going on about lockdown. Obviously we've had COVID going on as well. But little sum up here, it's a case of people in ivory towers telling us minions what we need rather than actually talking to us. And I've gone about as well, bus lanes. We should have bus lanes instead of cycle lanes, because at the moment the buses are getting snarled up with all the cars. But again, more of that later. Then we're on October the 5th, 2021. Brad all over a Saturday night. Oh, that was when, Bradley Walsh. And I put here, we already have similar issues. I fear these apartment blocks won't be filled by yuppie types, but more a place to dump people no one else can cope with or wants in their neighbourhood. Is it already too late to save Wigan Town Centre? Yeah. And I'm going about bits that we've lost. Wigan Pier, the old baths, the casino, the Victorian Market Hall, and other things people mention randomly that have been taken away. Then we've got the 14th of December, and I went to a meeting for the council, full council meeting, and I was quite disturbed by it, to be fair. This is when I started thinking that the councillors, particularly the Labour councils, are just voting en masse, party political. They're not discussing anything, they're just voting en masse. They stick their hands up when they're told to, they press the button when they're told to. And I thought, this is when I start thinking things have got to start changing and someone needs to do something. I even mentioned as well that I went to Nottingham to look at a failed regeneration project where basically it's not the same thing as Wigan, but a demolition of a old shopping centre for redevelopment started to take place. The company went bust and, well, they've got a half demolished shopping centre in the middle of the city. Not very good. 21st of December, there's not much Christmas cheer. So we're going about uncertainty, and I think this is one where I go on about the lockdown or knockdown is going to get me, because there could have been a lockdown at that point. And I also go on as well about no one who works in the galleries knows if they have a job or a business this time next month. There was no communication from the council as to what is going on, and there's still very little now, to be fair. Next up, we've got the 28th of December 2021, an eventful year to say the least, obviously, and again asking the questions. Who owns the freehold? Who will get the profits? Who will run the hotel, the entertainment complex? This is one of my favourite quotes. It's like living in a communist state where people in power feel they can do what they want. A bit like China. Hang on, that's where the funding is coming from. I'm guessing they will all be wearing green suits in the council chambers this time next year, holding a little red book. So, yeah. Make a point, but have a laugh with it as well. And then, let's make 2022 a year of change. Again, I've still got no idea or inclination that I'm going to be putting myself up for election. So I'm just plodding on as normal, writing about, everything. This is where I go on about bus lanes. How many buses have got buses get snarled up with the cars. Many routes have been changed to avoid Saddle Junction because that's just completely getting changed and remodelled all the time. And then a line to do with Blair and Tutu, hero and villain. And then this here, but there's a way to stopping future destruction of our heritage. Do not vote Labour at this year's local elections. Remind them they are there for you. Remind them they are not invincible. Again, still no plans of doing anything exciting or anything like that. And then back in the Post, this is when the frustration of everyone, including the market traders, was covered by the Wigan Evening Post. Straight answers sought by the businesses who are most disrupted by the town transformation. So you've got all these various people here. Only one group seemed happy about it, which was Glamour Point. They've moved into the new game section, but everyone else worried sick about it. And there's little old me, looking 6 months pregnant. And I have what do I say? Where am I? Oh yeah, there we go. I added, being situated in a construction zone is going to be damaging. Is going to damage the business. Who wants to come to a shop that was surrounded by building equipment and noisy pollution? At that time, I didn't know that my shop was being demolished because I had no information. January the 14th, 2022. So I'm assuming I'm staying open and everything's going to get knocked around me. Turns out, I wasn't. And it's the market hall that is going to get surrounded by demolition and other stuff as well. The McPlant, I'm not loving it. Yeah, I do reviews of food as well. And then I have a vlog on YouTube called Wigan Watch. I've been trying to piece together what is going on for the town centre, for the safety of families, pointless cinema at night. I want to stay in a hotel in the centre of Wigan. There are plenty of nicer places just out the town centre. If you want to concern, there's a Facebook page, blah, blah, blah. And then we are on February the 22nd. And then we go back down to here. Meanwhile, in Wigan, the car park is to close permanently. It's now closed, but all the shops have gone anyway. This is due to antisocial behaviour, which seems to have just moved now from the car park into the actual shopping centre. So that didn't work very well. And even then, I said footfall is already falling off a cliff. Rumours at the moment that other shops and stalls are closing in the market because footfall is just not good enough. And then the last one of this is the March the 1st. Change of policy is needed now. Obviously, we've lost Next recently. What I worry about is the fact that if the money disappears from Chinese, we're going to end up with either a building site or a half-built thing or a big hole in the ground. So that's why I put myself forward for the council. There's a lot more to it than that. It's not just about, oh poor me, look, I've lost my shop. It's not like that at all. I'm more concerned for the people like the lady next door at the card factory who got made redundant, and she'd been working there for nearly 2 decades. Same with Select, same with other shops. Savers have gone, made people redundant. Steels, they moved out. Body Care, they didn't even know they were closing, to be fair. Neither did Steels. But I blame more the companies for that, not passing on the information, because they must have known You can't just close a shop when you're a big company like that and not know about it. But again, that's for other days. But they ain't coming back. They've gone. Wigan Town Centre, I did a vlog on this. Is Wigan already past the tipping point? I fear it is. But what we've got left, we need to work on, we need to survive. So, Wigan Town Centre is a priority because that's for everyone, and that's why it's important you vote. Because Paul Prescott, again, I'll go into more details about him, he is one of the big wigs on the council, and he thinks he is invincible. He thinks he can do whatever he wants and get away with it. And he has been doing. So now it's time to protest. Do a protest vote, but vote for the same person. There's only two other candidates up. There's a Conservative and a Lib Dem. Now, I appreciate that Conservative voters are very few and far between in Wigan, and a lot of people wouldn't vote for Conservatives if they were the only party on the actual voting slip. For, yeah, like I say, obvious reasons before I moved to Wigan, but I get that. And Lib Dems, well, they don't do very much either. So that is why I'm standing, because people kept coming into the shop, and I had a few emails and whatever, and saying, you've got some interesting ideas, you've got some good points, you put them over well, so why don't you put yourself up for election? And I've been umming and ahhing. Anyway, I've decided to do it. So I'm David, the little guy, and Paul Prescott is Goliath. Yeah, like that. But I'm up for the fight. It's going to be a fair fight, but it's going to be a fight. We need to make change. So give me a try. I'm new, I'm different. I'm not like any other councillor. I've got a sense of humour. Yeah, I know. But I can also be very, very serious as well. And I'll be very approachable. So, on the May the 5th, vote independent in the Pemberton Ward and vote for me. If you can't vote for me, vote for your independent in your own ward. Let's get Labour out.